Hi, good evening, guys. This is Swaraj. I'm going to talk about driving organic growth via bot features. My name is Swaraj Shetty. I'm a bot builder, associate director of key accounts and alliances at Gupshup. Before we start, let me just talk a little bit about the Gupshup platform. Gupshup is one of the leading platforms worldwide for enabling conversational experiences and bots. It's a high-scale and secure SMS platform. It handles around 4.5 billion messages per month. It's also an advanced bot platform which integrates into 30 plus messaging channels across text, voice, web, and app. We have varied bot building tools, coding tools for developers, graphical tools for designers, plus our own NLP engine. A total of 25,000 bots have been built on our platform. We have major brands as customers like Wiggly, Sage, Unilever, Citibank, HDFC, etc. We're also official tech partners with Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft, Cisco, and Google. We launched the world's first bot messaging, bot-friendly messaging app, Team Chat, around 2013. Collectively, Gupshup has 10 plus years experience of building messaging-based services and bots, and I've been with Gupshup for those 10 years, so I kind of have experience. Coming to me, over the last 10 years as a community builder, growth hacker, and product evangelist at Gupshup, I've designed, built, and deployed bots and messaging services solutions in India and Southeast Asia. I've volunteered and also led mobile and digital initiatives in transformative campaigns like India Against Corruption, Lok Satta Movement, and other social impact projects using messaging solutions and bots powered by Gupshup. This slide shows some of the bots that I've built recently. We're going to talk about Jokebot in detail, so we'll just keep it for later. The other bot is I've recently built a bot for Vogue India, which is 100K plus users, which sends out trending fashion updates. Bitmo is a cool dictionary bot. It recently won a best learning app service award at the Oxford Dictionary Awards. Uh, Another interesting bot is the MSEC Voter chatbot, which led to a 12% increase in voter turnout in Mumbai, India. You could send a message to the bot, and you could find out why, who, or where to vote in the local body elections. That's a little bit about me. That now coming to Jokebot, so we're gonna cover this bot in detail. So let's get started and cover how we drove, organic growth in this bot. This bot was launched in early 2017 on Messenger. Uh, while I go through this presentation, it will be great if you can play with the bot. You can try out some of the features that are covered here. The bot link is on the slide. It's m.me Desi Jokebot. Uh, or you can search for Jokebot on Messenger, but make sure there is a space between joke and bot. Right. So let's get through the stats of this bot. The bot crossed million users recently. We have upwards of 120K daily active users, and we get around 5,000 daily new users. If you look at the monthly stats, almost 70% of the total user base is active, and we get upwards of 100K new users every month. Uh, Now, coming to what these guys are doing, the bot has some super active users, right? It generates around 1.2 to 1.4 million messages every day. The monthly numbers are between 35 and 40 million messages. Around 270 million messages have been processed by the bot till date. Let's get to who these users are, right? 56% of these users are male, 42 are female. Around 69% of our users are between the age group 18 to 34. If you look down, almost 65% of our users are from Philippines because the bot is on Messenger, and Philippines is one of the primary drivers for this bot. Now, if you look at the daily numbers, let's look at the user breakup of this Monday, 28th May. These numbers are similar to the overall user breakup. The male numbers are slightly higher from new users coming recently from South Asia. So now let's get started with how we got to these numbers. I think like any product, app, or website, a bot needs to have a clear purpose. I think the bot either needs to be useful or entertaining, or then the users and the growth will follow. I've just listed a few bots which I think are interesting, either from a functional perspective or an entertaining perspective. So HelloPeg is a bot which allows you to do your daily finances, right? Witmo is a bot which it tells you meanings. It's a dictionary bot. Do Not Pay was a bot which was designed to help people, avoid traffic fines. In the entertaining thing, we have Jokebot, plus we have Vogue, which is, which sends out custom fashion updates. So all of these are like natural use cases which are being deployed on messaging. Machao is another interesting bot which sends out cricket related updates, and it's gone viral in the recent times. So yeah, so the bot needs to have a clear purpose. The second thing that we did was, once we decided our purpose. So the purpose of our bot was to make people laugh and give them access to the best jokes. And the way we went about doing things was, we decided to keep the user interface really simple. All that a user needs to do is to rate a joke, and he sees the next joke. So if you guys are there, you can actually try out the bot. Uh, Besides, like, get browsing through jokes, the user also has options to share a joke or opt in to get daily jokes. So, at the front end, a user simply clicks on a emoticon to read the joke. But at the back end, our rating algorithm keeps moving the jokes with the highest average rating up the stack for new users, right? So this complexity is kind of masked, but every new user gets to see the top rated jokes, rated by all other users who've used the bot. And this comes pretty early in the conversation. That's how we enable a great user experience, right? So users access great content, but this great content is compiled by crowd-sourced ratings, right? So that was the simple interface we provided to give a great user experience. In the early days of the bot, any bot, it's important to analyze bot conversations and user reviews. So we use the tools like Mixpanel and Dashbot to observe, a user transfer, to see how actually first time users spoke to our bot. We found out that the bot got stuck in a few places. So, the logical step was to simplify the flow and add quick replies wherever the flow broke. Another interesting thing we noticed in the early days was there were a lot of power users who used to consume a lot of jokes in one go, right? So we realized that we needed a lot more jokes in the platform, for it to so the users don't run out of jokes. If you look at the right corner, not only user conversation, we paid attention to each user review, positive or negative, that we got for the bot. By the positive reviews, we knew we had the right use case and our bot had a purpose. But with the negative remarks and the feedback, we kind of knew that where we were getting stuck, right? So the overall experience in the initial few days was that the feedback that we got was add more jokes and simplify the user experience. And this was late 2000, 16, early 2017. And at this point, we had just got around 1,000 users. We just spent a little bit of money on FB marketing and got around 1,000 users. But after making these changes and after simplifying the flow, it went up to 2,000 users. The other important thing to do is to keep an eye on the user metrics and take action on the insights. We initially started the bot with just two streams. There were Indian jokes and global jokes. In June 2017, we noticed that 30% of all our global joke consumers were from Philippines. So it made sense to add a Filipino joke channel there, and that's what we did. So, and that was a game changer. Once we added Filipino jokes, the majority consumers got what they wanted, and that kind of reflected in the daily active user count we had. So you can see in the chart that our daily active user count rose to 30K users post that change. Uh, okay, so now coming to the next thing we did, right? So basically, what we did was, we read the conversations, we read the reviews, we looked at the analytics, and we decided that becomes the driving force for the changes that we made in the rather than assumptions and or deciding what the user wants. We decided to let the user tell us what he wants, right? So the next thing we did was, we noticed that the users who are coming to the bot, as I said, right, a lot of power users were consuming a lot of jokes, but during but this was during the initial conversation. After a few conversations, they would drop off. They would be active again when we send them any new update notification about new jokes or new channels. But the interaction with their bot was not on a regular basis. So to enable periodic engagement with the bot, we added subscription-based daily updates. So basically, the user could choose to get jokes, whenever he wanted. But we made sure that this was completely opt-in, and we gave the user a choice. How many jokes he wants in a day, which language, and what time. I think this feature had a major impact on our user activity. So all our active users who were not regular with usage, they become active subscribers. Till date, today morning we had around 110K plus subscribers. This has led to the DAO gradually increasing from 30K. The subscription model, the feature we added in Jan this year, and from Jan, our daily active users has gone from 30K to today, which is around 120 plus K. Uh, Now, another growth hack we did was the share button. Now, this might not apply to all bots, but jokes get shared a lot naturally, right? It's a natural, thing to do with a joke. Be it a bot, be it FB post. So to drive organic growth, we added share buttons to each joke in the joke bot. So one can share it on Messenger, they can share it on WhatsApp, or post it as a Facebook post, the actual joke in the joke bot. But when it's shared or forwarded or posted, the bot link is also posted with the joke. So I think share has been a major source for our new users. It gets us regular users. It might not be the major, major. It might not have the majority share. I think around 5 to 10% of all our users are through shared jokes. Another thing we do is, we also send out periodic service messages to active users with a share message for the bot. So if they really like our bot and they want to share it with their family and friends, they can actually share a message with the a little bit of info about the bot. And this is also an inbuilt feature in Messenger where you can share the bot with your Messenger contacts. Share is also a major source of some other bots which I've designed, which is Vogue and Bible bot. So any if you have a content bot, make sure you have share and make it multi-channel, because depending on the geography you're in, there might be different messenger apps which are dominant. So it will help you to reach messenger channels which might not host bots, but but you can share the bot link on those via the messenger bot. Another source of new users for us is our FB page. We post regular engaging content on the bot page on FB. Most of the times, it's popular jokes from the joke bot, which we post as screenshots. I think use case specific content, will actually drive traffic towards the bot from the FB page as well. We've seen instances where a single viral joke post has, got us like 100 to 200 users without any promotion or anything. Uh, Although, yeah, so on this bot till date, we've just spent $200, and this was during the initial stage to get to the first 2,000 users. I found out that it's effective. The FB ad platform gives a lot of tools. Now you can send messages on Messenger, but it's a little costly. So, and the purpose of this bot right from the start was we wanted to build a bot which gets users organically. So it's been a conscious decision from our on our behalf not to spend too much on ads. But for other bots, yeah, for different bots, you'll need a promotional campaign. And let me just do a plug-in here. If you want to know more about how to use the different, channels to promote your bot, we have a webinar by Vivek, one of our product guys recently. Probably you can catch up on that one. It will give you more insights into how you can promote your bot using the different tools out there, using paid sources, right? Now coming to slide 17, the featured list. Now, this is the most important driver of all growth for us. I think discovery is still a problem for bots, but the messenger featured list works, right? So make sure you apply right on day one. If the bot is useful or interesting, it gets featured in the main section or one of the categories they have entertained when they have functionality wise categories. And the other thing how to crack the featured list is if your bot shows good traction, it reflects under popular, right? So there are not enough good bots out there that might actually work as an advantage for you. So for Jokebot, I think it's a primary source of new users. We've been there on the featured list for a year, and that's how we've been able to drive a lot of growth without actually spending anything. I'm just going to quickly recap all the points I covered, right? So if you're building a good organic bot, you pick the right use case. The bot needs to have a purpose. Keep the user interface really simple. Analyze the bot conversation, the user reviews, observe and leverage whatever analytics metrics you get, and let that decide what changes goes in the bot, rather than making changes and seeing how it plays out in the analytics. Uh, the points 5 and 6 might not apply to all bots; they're more specific to content bots. But if you introduce daily notifications, you'll obviously get more daily active users. But make sure it's opt-in and it's easy to opt out, so nobody gets stuck with a lot of unnecessary updates, right? Plus, another thing is have a content strategy for the whatever the FB page, or if you have a bot website, make sure it's SEO friendly, it gets discovered on Google. The last point again, you have to crack the featured list. I think it's easy to do. I mean, like, I think FB values, if you're building a bot on Messenger, FB values good bots, which have a clear purpose and don't break. So you'll get a shot there. Okay, so that kind of recaps what we did with the Jokebot and how we got it here. Uh, so I'm just gonna wait uh, for a few questions before we actually wind up. So let me just see if there are any questions. Okay, okay, okay. So I have a question from Vinay. He's asking, are you monetizing the bot and how? No, it's too early for us to monetize this bot. We're not doing it. It is ad free. I think we'd like to take it to at least 1 million active users before we think of monetizing it. So the purpose of this bot is not to make money right now. We're just trying to see, where we can go, and how we can make more people laugh at this stage. But yeah, obviously at some stage, we might think about it, but not right now. Okay, so Steven has a question. What features are you planning to add to the bot? Actually, bunch of things. We are planning to add more languages to the bot. In the last 3 months, we've seen a lot of traction from South Asia, from Pakistan, Bangladesh, a lot of traction from Malaysia, South Asia. But we just don't want to start a channel, once each country starts showing some traction. So we're still observing the stats. We're just watching usage patterns. We have global jokes, which kind of applies to all, but you know, we have a benchmark before we decide to add a channel. So there is plan to add more content and more. There were also planned. Right now, if you see all the jokes are text based, there was also this thought to add, visuals to it, add videos, but that kind of led to the whole. Didn't fit with the whole simple interface theory we had, but we're still considering it because there's a lot of content out there. uh, Plus we're looking at other channels also. We're looking to launch the bot on Line because Line is big in Indonesia, on Telegram. We also have a web version which works on a browser on Android, that makes us channel independent, but we're just still doing some R&D testing there. Uh, okay Okay, so the another question. What do you do if the bot is stuck and getting no users in spite of spending money on ads? Okay, I've faced this in the initial stage. I think in this case, one needs to make sure that it's not the marketing that is failing. You just need to relook, who you are targeting, what creative, what channels, you know that is the first step. Second, let's just check what channel are you deploying on, right? For example, if let's say a messenger is being used in it, like line is line has more usage in Indonesia than let's say a Facebook messenger. So if you launch a bot on messenger, obviously there will be less traction there. So one, check what marketing campaign, whether you're doing the right target. And second, check what channel your bot lies on, and also look at your use case and the bot features, right? If you're reaching your users and they still don't engage with the bot, either they've forgotten that the bot exists, or they don't think it's useful or interesting. uh, so yeah, that should be it. Okay, I don't think we have more questions. What I'm gonna do is, okay, so my email ID is on the screen. We'll obviously share the deck and the video of this webinar. This was very short and simple because we just shared what we did with one bot. But if you have any feedback, you have any bot ideas you want to discuss, please feel free to drop me an email. Yeah, that's all for today.